Winter can wreak havoc on your skin. Hey, it's Kayla, and it's not just the weather, but as a new mom, I've seen my skin change in ways that I'm not too happy about. But that's where the Skin Center has you covered. Their most popular treatment is Botox because they're the best at it. They've been ranked a top 10 provider in the nation by Allergan Aesthetics, the makers of Botox. And their best facial is what I got. It's the HydraFacial. It exfoliates, extracts, and hydrates all at once. So save your skin from these winter blues and DM at the Skin Center MD on Instagram and mention code Kayla to get $100 off your first Botox or filler treatment or any skincare package.
This message is brought to you by Regeneron. If you have diabetes, listen closely because your ears could help your eyes. Excess sugar from diabetes could lead to eye damage and vision loss, even blindness, and you might not even notice it at first. So remember, now is the time to get your eyes checked. Eye care is especially important with diabetes. See a path forward with actions and potential treatment options that may help your eyes and protect against vision loss. Go see an eye care specialist and visit nowyesee.com to take charge of your eyesight. That is NOWEYESEE.com.
Hey, what is going on? You are watching Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. And I'm your host, Steve V. This is episode 338. Alongside Cody Maurice Doggett. How the hell are you, Cody?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful tonight. I got a haircut. I'm looking fresh. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Still happy. Still reeling off of Monday night. So this was the haircut you were supposed to have had for our 5-year part 1 anniversary.
Girl, I was trying to get a haircut for the anniversary. My barber was like, I'm out of town. I didn't want to cheat on him. I'm a one barber man. I can't cheat. I'm not. Yeah,
I hear you.
I was despondent. I didn't know what to do with myself.
One of our listeners was just saying that he has a backup barber and his backup barber wasn't even available. So yeah, what do? You wear a hat. That's what you do.
It was a Say Something Hat Day. Mine said shade. I don't know if you read it.
I did. Oh, Chris is here. Great. Chris will join us.
Chris.
Okay. So in this episode, we are super excited in a little bit, not just yet. We have a special guest, Chris Bustamante, Dr. Chris Bustamante. He's an aesthetic nurse practitioner. We have so many questions for him on our aesthetics and taking care of ourselves. Such a good time too right now at the beginning of the year to consider all this stuff. So excited to bring him on in just a little bit. But before we get to Chris, we've got to talk about, so Monday was part 1 of our 5-year anniversary of Tags podcast.
So much fun.
This coming Tuesday, next Tuesday, February 15th will be part 2. And you can join us for that. We would have did it on Monday night, but it's Valentine's Day. And
I have a whole boyfriend to consider. I'm so sorry.
You got a boyfriend. Lincoln will be joining us on part 2. And he's, of course, engaged. So that's why we're doing this
Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Beyonce. So everyone's celebrating. And so we will do Tuesday, February 15th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time live on the Get Vocal platform. If you're confused, go to TAGSPodcast.com and you'll find the information up on the site there. We also want to shout out that I'm really excited that we have a special offer as we just launched our Tags Sex Pause community over on Patreon. And thanks so many of you guys already for joining our new Tag Sex Pause community where the conversation continues. And I've been having some fun so far setting up our Discord channel. And it's one of the perks on certain tiers that you'll get by joining. And it's a place that we can just hang out there throughout the week. The conversation continues over there. You can ask us questions about things. We can carry the topics on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm already loving hanging out on the Discord channel that you get when you join our Patreon channel. And if you join between now and February 24th, you'll take advantage of our special offer. You'll be supporting us, but you will get an exclusive live stream with myself and the hosts, as well as a shout out on an upcoming Tags podcast, like you in your city. So you'll get to hear your name on the show. Say my name, say my name.
Hey.
Absolutely. So you can go to patreon.com/Tags podcast. Take advantage of the special offer between now and February 24th. So many cool things coming up with that. And with that, let's get into our hot topics for tonight. All of the first topics are on all kinds of the apps, essentially. And Cody, the Olympics are on right now, and I'm not really watching too much. I might come on board when the ice skating. I'm more of a Summer Olympics fan, too. Which I watched all last summer. But I have to say, I will check out. I like a good ice skating moment, and I will check that out. But
yeah.
So many Grindr has changed the privacy settings for people using the app in the Olympic Village in Beijing. So users in the village can still find one another, but their profiles are not visible to people outside of the village. Bloomberg reported that the change is designed to protect the world's top athletes from persecution or harassment. We want Grindr to be a space where all queer athletes, regardless of where they're from, feel confident connecting with one another while they're in the Olympic Village, said Grindr for Equality head Jack Harrison Quinton. This is because in 2016, in Rio, a journalist created a fake profile on Grindr and wanted to see how many guys were hooking up with people and was kind of outing people with this. So because of all that, they said they are not doing that at all. They decided to get rid of all that. But I got to thinking that who cares if the outside, because if you watched anything on the news right now, they are in a bubble on the Olympics campsite. And would you really need to even be looking outside of there? And I understand there are walls keeping them. Wouldn't it just be fun just to be amongst the other Olympians? I mean, how many hot guys are you going to meet up with? It would be so hot.
And I heard that they get it in at the Olympics, in the Olympics Village. They are all, I hear that it's just so sexually charged in the Olympics, and I'm here for it. I think they should make a porn about it. Maybe call it the Olympic Gay Villas. Yeah,
we'll go with that. Villas. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of was thinking, when are they going to have time to be hooking up? And aren't they so focused on winning medals? But you know what?
When they do their sport right after that, then that's when they're
cheering on everybody else. Yeah. And they're all pumped up. They're excited. They want to celebrate. They're looking at other hot Olympians, and I would be totally getting my game on too. And
for sure.
You're getting the creme de la creme of the top athletes in the world. Yeah. So if you didn't even want to go for the Americans, you could go, hey, let me look at these Chinese teams over here.
Exactly.
Or let me look at the Russians. I've always wanted to be with the Russian and in bed. And, you can really have your pick. Yes, Blake says it's like a food court, a global food court, right?
Give me a little taste of that. I want some. I'm feeling like Spanish today. Come on.
What are some of the people saying?
They are saying that Grindr is illegal in China. You never know where or what kind of climates these people are, these athletes are coming from. So it's so good that they are having this closed circuit. And then Blake said, I thought they weren't supposed to fraternize because of COVID if they want to stay eligible to compete. Oh, I did not know that. I didn't read that.
Well, maybe they forgot to tell that to Grindr, but Grindr is keeping it on.
I think they're going to still be doing it anyway.
I mean, I know I've been seeing all these restrictions and everything. I don't know, but good luck to America, Team USA, and happy Grindering. Okay. Well, we got to get to this next one. Which one do you want to do? Because we probably have time. We could get to both really quick.
We could do both really quick.
Okay. Also in the app news, rapper, remember Nelly, you guys? Well, Nelly shared a video on Instagram of a woman sucking his cock. And
Mhm.
you remember him, right? It's getting hot in here.
Hot in here for sure.
So apparently, Cody, he posted this video on an Instagram story, and I don't know if it was by mistake or not, but he immediately took it down. It had to be by mistake, right? Because
I think I am a conspiracy theorist type person.
okay,
I'm thinking that he might have done it for attention, but okay,
but
it was a mistake.
But everyone's talking about it, and of course, somebody grabbed a hold of it before.
Of course.
So he thinks it's gone. I watched it. I will post
Mhm.
this on TAGSPodcast, and you see this woman sucking on Nelly's cock, and she's got like nails out to here. And some people were saying, "Oh, she doesn't know what she's doing." Nothing like a gay guy sucking a cock. We know what we're doing. Somebody else said, and it's really kind of average to small in size.
It is pretty average to small, but I mean, it's probably an average size penis. Let's be fair. It's probably about 5 to 6 inches.
But when you're like a celebrity rapper, artist, hip hop artist, do you want that to get out there? Because people, of course, are coming for it. It's like, oh, he's not all that big. So I think, as Teddy's saying, it was definitely a mistake, or one of his people got mad at him, and maybe he has people controlling his phone, and it got leaked.
No, you don't put that on your phone and then give your phone to somebody else. That doesn't connect for me.
I mean, why don't you put that on your phone? Because the video is clearly taken.
That.
The video was recorded with his phone, and he was doing that thing where you're looking down at somebody sucking your cock, and it's that angle. So
I love that.
The only thing you can do is with your phone, and do like I use the prop here, but. But I mean, and she's got like the eyes. I don't know if she's looking up or not like that, but maybe he had an assistant who's like really disgruntled and decided,
took his phone, because I can't see myself giving my phone to someone and have that has incriminating sex things about me on my phone.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would have a burner phone for my social media.
A sex tape phone just for that, and then hide it in my bottom drawer, basically.
Yeah. Teddy says there's a video of him posting it. Oh, and he's just not paying attention. Yeah, not a great dick. Jen says all my videos go on the cloud. Oh, right. Okay.
But
which could be a good thing or not, right?
Yeah, I think that if he should be smart enough. There was that huge leak from the cloud the other day. I mean, several years ago. And I think he's smart enough to know not to let things go on the cloud. I'm just, hypothesizing. So
the cloud makes me nervous because
the cloud got some things on me. I could tell you.
When you try and take something on my phone and then I see, and it's uploading on the cloud, I'm like, wait a minute, it's like proliferating and expanding. And where is this cloud going? And how do I access it, by the way? And who has access to it? I don't know. It's just all too scary for me.
So really quick,
you're going to give me an IT rundown? We don't have time, bitch.
I know. Really quick, my Apple TV is connected to my cloud that all the photos are. So you can actually access, you can't delete that folder from your Apple TV. So you can see all my nudie pictures on my Apple TV if you really wanted to. So none of you are invited over my house, basically.
Yeah, and that could get scary on a party, when you just put it on random.
I'm unplugging it and hiding it.
Okay. Lastly, also in app news, this is a good one. TikTok is banning transphobic, homophobic, and misogynistic harassment on the platform. They made an announcement updating its community guidelines to make the video sharing app a safe place for queer people and women by banning misgendering, dead naming.
Yes.
Which you told me offline, dead naming is calling a transgendered person by their name they were given at birth and not addressing them as their current name that they go by right now. Dead naming. Didn't know that.
Yep.
and misogyny, as well as conversion therapy from its platform. Conversion therapy, wow.
I know, right?
And when TikTok has over 1 billion users, this is a great thing, I think, because TikTok is the way that everyone is using right now. And so I just think it's a really good addition that they're hopefully cracking down on some of this stuff. What are your thoughts on this, Cody?
I just think it's about time. And I think that all the other social platforms should follow suit with this and make sure that they enforce it, because I see way too many times that these regulations are not enforced. I see the N word used in hate. I see the F word used in hate all the time.
Wow.
And nothing is done about it. So I just need for them to really crack down on it and make sure that this is a safe space for everyone.
Absolutely. So good on that. All right. Well, at this point, we're on time. I can't believe we got through those stories.
I know. We did a good job, bitch.
We have about 30 seconds. If you want to grab a spot, Chris, you can go grab this spot. And when you are ready, don't forget our part two is February 15th of our 5-year anniversary. Join us on the Get Vocal platform. And our special guest, you can come on right now. Here he is, I believe.
Hi.
Hello.
Here he is.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, so I can hear you guys crystal clear.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, we want to welcome you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Chris Bustamante, correct?
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, it's recent. I finished my doctorate degree in December, so I'm still getting used to it.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
So, Chris, you're an aesthetic nurse practitioner, and you just got your doctorate, like you said. And you went to Columbia University, correct?
Did.
One thing that I was reading on your bio that I was really excited about is you worked at Callan Lord here in New York City.
I did a clinical rotation there. So when I was in my
Nice.
RN program, my master's program at Columbia, I got to do my community health rotation there. So I got to rotate with the nurses there and all that. And it was pretty cool.
We love that. We love that. And we're really excited because you're with Bespoke Surgical. We love Dr. Goldstein here at TAGSPodcast. He's been on the show several times, and we just think he's the greatest. What brought you to want to work with Bespoke Surgical and Dr. Goldstein?
Yeah, I started there 2 years ago. I was pretty much almost fresh out of my registered nurse program. I was starting my doctorate to become a nurse practitioner. I always knew I wanted to be in aesthetics. I come from a makeup artistry background before I was working in medicine. So it's always been my passion. Like, I was not someone who went into medicine all right, let me explore to see what I like. Like, no, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to inject. I wanted to do chemical peels. I wanted to do all that.
Nice.
I
all the things I need.
Yeah, we're gonna have you do an assessment on us before. No,
I got to get introduced to Dr. Goldstein through a mutual friend who she's a nurse who practices aesthetics as well. He was looking for someone to start out doing aesthetics at his practice before he had never had it before. And so we kind of created together this sort of niche section of anal aesthetics, as you will. And so I started off there doing laser hair removal. I brought on an anal bleaching procedure that became quite popular. And I also brought on different procedures such as like chemical peels for the butt and body and microneedling procedures to help like refine the butt cheeks with some people have acne, dark spots, all that good stuff that I take care of.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit on some of these treatments you just listed off. And this is such a great time. It's the beginning of the year. Everyone's trying to get healthy. But as you say, aesthetics are another part of our need to take care of ourselves. Talk a little bit about anal bleaching. What is that? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, so the term in itself, I think, is really more of an SEO thing. It's not really truly bleaching. There's no peroxide involved or anything like that.
Right.
It's just when you plan things out as a procedure, you kind of go with what it actually is, but like find a term that's also going to sell. So it's essentially a chemical peel that's designed for hyperpigmentation. And so what it does, it helps even out the skin tone for people who have more hyperpigmentation around their hole or inner leg area or groin, so it really just kind of like evens it out to match the rest of their skin tone. It won't lighten up an area that is not hyperpigmented. And so that's like why a lot of times I'll have like consults before I do these procedures to make sure someone's a candidate for them. Because we live in a world that's just like, very fixated on, everything aesthetics, and we look at each other. And so guys will come in sometimes and be like, oh, I have a dark hole. And I'm looking at him like, it's not, it matches actually the rest of your body. So you can't really change that. It's not, I don't literally bleach it. But if someone does have like, hyperpigmentation around it, then I can definitely help with that and even it out. So there's a less of a transition between like their butt cheek and their hole, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to imagine you had to, this is something you always wanted to work in, but like when I've seen Dr. Goldstein, he's looking at your ass region, and I've never felt more comfortable talking about my ass region and all that area than with Dr. Goldstein. Was there a bridge that you had to kind of cross on how you were going to deal with clients or patients? And what's that like? Are people nervous, or are you nervous about talking to people about those areas?
Funny that you say that, because like I think that there are some people who are just meant to do certain things. I grew up in a very liberal household. Like sex wasn't a taboo subject. So it's always been something like I've been able to talk to my parents about it, like all those things. It's not like something I'm shy about.
Right.
So it personally wasn't hard for me to assimilate to it. I was like, all right, let's just do this. Some patients are definitely very nervous. And they, we get all different types of people coming in, all different walks of life, body shapes, like genders, everything. And so it really just depends where that person's at. I tend to notice that my like very young patients who are like early 20s to mid 20s are like, they're sometimes like Snapchatting the procedure to their friends while we're doing it. They're like, oh my God, you can't believe where I'm at. Like, look at what he's doing. Like, everything. And I'm like, okay. I'm just like,
right.
And I have other patients who are more millennial and older that tend to be more shy, tend to be more reserved about it, and I kind of there's different approaches based on like what it is that I'm feeling, but I usually try to like crack a light joke, like like if it makes you feel better, like you're the fifth asshole I've seen today. It's 11 a.m. So
hey, I love that.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, like they get a good laugh out of it, and I'm just kind of like, yeah. So we're just gonna take a look. We're gonna talk about it, and we're just gonna get through it. And then honestly, like everyone on their second time coming around is like, they're super chill. Like they're telling me all about it. Like they're just super open. So just kind of like making like them people feel like safe, and I think like humor helps a lot.
Absolutely.
I don't think that it's smart to avoid like the white elephant in the room. Do you know what I mean? Like we're talking about your hole. Let's just say it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will be spreading your cheeks in front of me.
Cheeks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I hate to take the focus off of the ass because that's my favorite subject, but I would like to talk about, we can take it back there if you want to eventually, but I would like to talk about the face because I've been thinking about getting some Botox. When do you think is the best time to get it? Like what age? Because we did discuss a little bit about age. What do you think about that?
I always kind of feel like mid-20s is best. I don't like to push on people like so early. I mean, there's a lot more younger people doing it, and I will treat anyone who's 18 or older. I work at Bespoke Surgical part-time now. I started my own facial aesthetic practice this year. So I spend 2 days a week in my own office, which I'm at right now. And then I'm also at Bespoke 3 days a week where I do strictly like anal and body stuff. So
we should mention in New York City, correct? Yeah.
Bespoke Surgical is located right by Union Square, and my private practice is located right by Bryant Park. So with Botox, I'll treat anyone over 18, but usually it's people like mid-20s will start. I think it's best to start doing it before you actually have any wrinkles forming, so it's more preventative. I always say like little tweaks along the way are the graceful way to age. I think aging is beautiful. It's a privilege. I'm not trying to make anyone look like like they're not aging. I think you just want to look good for your age, right?
Yes.
Right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So I think that's more of like the realistic, healthy way to think about it. And so I have to re-educate and reorient my patients to thinking that way too. I don't want people to be super very obsessive over it, which sometimes you will find in the field.
Like they're frozen in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. I mean, I am not. I understand where they're coming from because I know that there's a lot of pressure on people to look a certain way. So I'm very empathetic with it. But I think that sometimes you will meet people where you know that servicing them isn't a help to them. It's a disservice. And so like you do encounter that, and there are people that I politely refuse to treat, just because I don't think it's a good thing for them, and not a smart move for me as a provider. But yeah, like I do think early Botox intervention is great for aging gracefully. Usually you do it 3 to 4 times a year. And then
Okay, when can I sign up?
I'd love to have you.
Because I'm way above my 20s. So.
Well, one of the things I also loved reading about in your bio is that you really believe in a skincare regimen and taking care of your skin. And so many people don't. I've always tried to take care of my skin since I was a young kid. And talk about skincare and what we should, at the very minimum, we should be doing.
The very minimum is wearing sunscreen every day. That's number one. The sun is the number one source of aging. Number 2, I would say having a retinol. Retinol is a vitamin A derivative. You can find weaker retinols over the counter, but you can also ask your aesthetic provider or a dermatologist to prescribe you a retinol. They come in all different sorts of doses. So you kind of usually start at a lower percentage just so it's not so irritating because retinols can be quite drying.
I use 5% or 0.5%. Does that sound right? Yeah, 0.5%. Yes, exactly. I use that.
Great. What I usually recommend people do with their retinol is kind of do like a sandwich technique application. So you do a little bit of moisturizer first, then your pea-sized amount of retinol all over, and then you do a little bit of moisturizer afterwards. That way you're not getting dried out from the retinol, but you're still getting all the benefits of increasing the cellular turnover rate.
Got it.
And we do like to keep it sexy here on TAGSPodcast. So I do have to ask this because I saw on Boomer Banks's Twitter that he was getting a penile sensitivity procedure. And was this you that performed that, or am I wrong in saying that?
No, it was me. It was me.
Oh my goodness! Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, of course. So in addition to aesthetics, I also do a little bit of sexual health. When I was in school, I did a specialty clinic rotation in sexual health at a popular urology practice. And so there I kind of got more interested in sexual health from more of the urological side. And so I have a shockwave device that I use here on the penis. And it takes about usually like 6 sessions or so. You do 1 session per week. And what it does, it breaks up like some of the plaques that form in the capillaries as we get older, for like just from honestly like wear and tear. Honestly, it's one of those things.
I have it. I bet.
So it also encourages your body to produce more capillaries by causing micro injuries that causes a cascade of regeneration in the tissue. It also will help stimulate some nerve tissue as well. So overall, guys will experience harder, firmer erections. I combined it with what's called the P shot. So in my office, I also do what's called PRP injections. It's platelet-rich plasma. It's when you draw up someone's blood and you spin it in a centrifuge and you extract the plasma portion, which is the gold part on top. It's full of stem cells and growth factors. If you inject it in certain areas, you can help regenerate the tissue. So we use it in aesthetics for like the scalp, for hair growth. We use it as a serum for microneedling procedures. If you follow my Instagram account, you can see me do it there. And then we can also inject that plasma directly into the penis. And that helps also with the regenerative process. It's the machine that I use in terms of the centrifuge. That's super important whenever you're shopping around for PRP because most people use very cheap devices. You want something that extremely concentrates the product. So I take, for example, like 60 mLs of blood, which is quite a bit. The average tube when you go to the doctor to get like your blood drawn is 8.5 mLs. So I'm taking quite a bit of those.
Wow.
One big tube. and then I spin it twice to hyperconcentrate that blood down to 7 mLs of plasma.
While
So
they're still there in your office, you're doing this.
yeah,
You
it takes
take the
forever.
blood and then
Yeah.
re-inject it into.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is the end result more sensitivity and greater erections? Is that kind of what, or harder erections even?
Yeah, I guess you can kind of think of it as like a natural Viagra, if you will. Like the tissue's
Okay.
being regenerated, so it's more sensitive. The erections are harder and they're firmer, and you'll get more spontaneous erections because the tissue itself has been regenerated more. So I use combination modalities is what we really focus on in medicine, like multiple approaches to the same problem, and so that's why I combine shockwave with the P shot. So I'll usually do 6 rounds of shockwave and 1 P shot together as a treatment plan for someone.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been great. People have been super happy.
Nice. So the
Nice.
results are good. We'll have to check that one out too, Cody.
Yeah.
I know, right? So I'm writing everything down. Trust me.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I also want to talk about hair removal and laser hair removal too, because
Yeah.
especially in that anal area region, and a lot of people like it smooth there. Does it remove it forever? What's the procedure like? And tell
Yeah.
us some of them. Yeah.
So the best way to explain how laser works, it's targeting the hair follicle and it's destroying the follicle. So once a follicle is destroyed, it's destroyed forever. That being
Okay.
said, our bodies are, if you're a healthy person, you can make new hair follicles. Unlike other cells in your body, your hair follicles can be regenerated. So usually laser hair removal for a male patient is about like 12 sessions to get them like pretty smooth. Obviously, this varies a little bit on like skin tone, hair tone, and like the density of hair. And the
Right.
reason for that is because the way that laser works is that it's targeting pigment. So you want that perfect candidate for laser hair removal is someone who's really pale with very dark hair. Those will get the
Okay.
results.
So
Okay.
fast.
Not me either.
Because they
Yeah.
have that huge contrast. That being
Mhm.
said,
Yeah.
our laser and a lot of lasers out there can treat all different skin tones and hair
Yeah.
tones. I'm just saying that that's the ideal perfect candidate. So you're
Okay.
always calibrating the laser settings so that you are not burning the patient but targeting the hair. As someone, if their hair color and skin tone are very close together, it's not that they can't be treated. They can be. It's just going
Right.
to take longer because now you're working at a lower setting because you obviously don't want to burn them.
Right.
And you're just, you're operating at a lower setting, so you're not really getting as many follicle destruction. There's, it's a little bit complicated in terms of why it is some people get faster results than others in a sense because hormones play a huge factor.
Right.
So young men, it takes a lot of sessions for them to get fully smooth. That being said, they do see results with every session, and it is a lot easier for them to maintain with grooming and all that. But when you look compared to both cisgender and transgender women who are like on hormones or naturally have hormones that are not as androgen, like don't have as much testosterone, they're not
Right.
producing as much hair follicles.
Oh, there
So-
you go. Okay.
So for them, you'll see results way faster versus like
Right.
a 25-year-old male patient is like boom, just like growing out new hair follicles. Interestingly enough, I do have some older patients who are in their 60s and they also lose hair very quickly because they don't have high testosterone anymore.
Right.
Ah.
Right. Well, yeah,
So,
exactly.
that's
Well.
multifactorial, yeah. So if I have patients who are doing testosterone replacement therapy, sometimes they'll ask me like, "Oh my god, it just keeps coming back." I'm like, "Well, it's it's the high testosterone levels. It's just kind of like there's always a give or take,
Yeah.
But overall, the results they're beautiful. They're like it just makes your skin look super clear. You don't have to worry about ingrown hairs as much. You don't have to worry about folliculitis. So that's one of the the benefits of it a lot. That people really appreciate. But yeah, it just depends on the person. Also, when it comes to like people ask me a lot about like sensitivity and pain and all that stuff. Again, it kind of varies on the actual person's pain level to begin with, but also again back to skin tone and hair tone.
Right.
The closer that hair tone is to the skin tone, the more they feel it.
Okay.
If the greater the difference is, the less they feel it. It's just because the laser is now like it's kind of so close to like what is it that it's targeting.
Right. It's getting confused. Yeah,
So it
that
gets
makes
for
sense.
looks for the
Yeah,
skin.
so they
Yeah.
tend to feel it the most, and that's when I'm like, I feel bad. But
Oh.
it's tough, because like
Yeah.
you want to get through it. But everyone does get
Yeah.
through it. Everyone's always like, oh my God, I don't think I can handle it. I've never had a patient have to stop, and I've never had a
Right.
patient discontinue their treatment because of the pain.
Okay.
Me. I will be the first.
You'll be the first.
Accessible. Like I could honestly make the laser so weak that you wouldn't feel anything. Obviously, that's not the ideal thing.
Yeah.
But it is super adjustable. I have like a cool air device that's attached to it as well to kind of make people more comfortable. But yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
it.
you. You're so kind. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, come on.
Absolutely. Well, did you have any more questions before we tell where people can find him? Cody?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have any more questions. No.
Okay. We can follow you on Twitter, right? Injectable Chris. Is that correct?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. It's the same handle, and TikTok, Injector Chris.
Injector Chris. Thank you. We'll put that on the podcast. And that
Fabulous.
links to your office in New York City as well.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Do you find do people like ask you questions on TikTok, or do you find people if our audience wants to kind of ask you questions and they're not in New York, do you find you interact with a lot of people outside of the
Oh yeah, I'm very good about checking my DMs on Instagram and Twitter. I'm not the best at answering back on TikTok. I've just got into, and it's insane. Like it's like the comments on TikTok are a little bit they're aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
We just reported on a story right now where they're trying to moderate a little bit more towards transgender and
I was listening to that, yeah. But it's very like hateful comments. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope they
I'm
really
like over
stick
just
to
like
that.
basic medical procedures that I'm also posting on Instagram that I don't get any comments on like that.
Right.
TikTok, I just have one that's actually picking up some traction now. And I'm just like, oh my God, like people are very aggressive.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm not really reading a lot of those. So.
Good. Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
But good. Well, good that you respond to your DMs on Instagram and Twitter and all that. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, we want to thank you so much for enlightening us on this. Maybe I'll come in and see you for a procedure.
I would love to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah. Have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Awesome. I love it.
I love
it. Yes.
So informative.
We got to get our appointments in there, Cody.
We can go together.
We can. All right. Well, we have time for one more topic before we get to our favorite thirst trap of the night. Sweet. And Cody, have you heard of ethical porn?
I have I have. Yeah. Well, you sent me the story and I read the story. So I have heard of it. Not before you sent me the story, no.
Well, this actually came off of Bespoke Surgical. They have on their blog, and Bespoke Surgical is endorsing this as well. I'll read a little bit of it. The ethical porn industry is growing, and that's a good thing. Because porn is correlated with more orgasms. Watching porn can be a great way to explore fantasies, learn about what turns us on, and prioritize our pleasure. And it can even make us better partners depending on how we consume it. So they talk about how it's a $97 billion global industry.
Yes.
85% of people watch porn in the past 6 months. I'm more like daily.
And I'm like 20% of that.
Yeah, right. But porn really can help some people tap into their bodies and explore sexual pleasure in ways that it's fun, empowering, and safe, they write.
Yes.
So when they say ethical, they're really talking about it's something different to everybody. So are performers paid fairly and promptly? Do performers have bodily autonomy? Is there consent? What physical and emotional safety practices are being taken? Does it show both fantasy and realistic pleasure? And does it ultimately, I like this one, represent diversity, including race, gender, body types, disabilities, and sexual orientation? And at the end of the day, there's really not one definition when it comes to ethical porn. Only you can decide what kind of porn you're comfortable supporting. And it's a spectrum, of course. I really like this movement. I think it's really good. What were your thoughts when you read this about ethical porn?
I love it. Yeah, and I thought it was too slow coming. I feel like this is something that should been that, and pun intended, by the way, with that.
Yeah,
I
right.
feel like it's something that should have been implemented a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
We should have had this standard for such a long, long time, because it seems like porn is often seen as like a dangerous place, and it's high time that this stigma was fought head on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We report
agree.
on way too many stories where the performers are being harassed or even assaulted, and
Yeah,
I
we
think that it's high time that ethical porn becomes the norm.
and also less shameful too. I think the
Yes.
more we talk about it, I just love Chris how he was talking about how open the family he grew up in. A lot
Mhm.
of younger gays are very comfortable talking about their bodies, and porn is just another. But it can be educational too, and you
Oh
can
yeah.
learn on what you like and what you want to bring into your own bedroom or your own outdoor sex scene that you want to, and you can get ideas. And I also think, I often hear guys that they watched porn for years when they were single, and then when they get a
Mhm.
boyfriend, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I turned that off. I mean, I could understand turning off things like the apps like
Yeah.
Grinder and
Oh, for
things of
sure.
that nature,
Yeah.
but porn could actually be fun to watch together. I mean, are you watching porn with
So
Joe?
we are not, but we just had a discussion recently. Oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't hear this.
Okay. Yeah.
Where we brought the subject up, and we are slowly but surely kind of working out the logistics of how that would work into our sex life. So
Really? Oh,
I'll
cool.
keep you updated on that.
Keep us updated on that.
But I
Yeah.
definitely get a lot of ideas from porn about what positions I might like to try in the
Yeah.
future. So porn can be very, very good, and it can be, it
Yeah,
can be a good
positions
thing and
can
be
be a great
debilitating too. Yeah.
it can, yeah, definitely. There's a spectrum on that too. I,
Yeah.
I love the idea of getting positions. Jen says I love some outdoor porn. Yeah, me too. That's some of the best. And I like having outdoor sex as well. So
I know,
I
right?
definitely watch a lot of those for sure. There's one guy, Daniel says, same. There's one guy that I think would fall under this category.
Okay.
He's bringing kink and passion one scene at a time. Um, Manuel Skelko. Have you heard of him before we had this story?
No, I hadn't heard of him before.
Yeah, so he started his working life as a carpenter, believe it or not,
Oh,
but then he became a dancer, and that led him to being spotted by porn producers who told him that his tattoos would make him a hot commodity in the industry. Since
nice.
then, he starred in porn videos I think he started with one of the ones that I really like. Can't find the name
Christian
of it.
Bjorn.
Yes, thank you, Christian Bjorn.
Hmm.
And
I
but
like them too. That's how come I remember.
right. So yes, right. More recently, Manuel realized that he wanted to venture out on his own, that he could explore his own fantasies and his love of kink by setting up his own studio. And I love the name, Cody, of his studio, Dirty Minds Media,
Yes, so
which
good.
is all about fetish, passion. I love that. And most of all, good natural acting. Quote, we search for people who really enjoy the situation. We don't want people who only want to work for the money. So you need to
Mhm.
have a passion. Pink News cut up with Manuel Scalco to talk about his OnlyFans. So apparently he's not a big OnlyFans fan
Yeah.
because he wants to create, because most people kind of just turn on the camera. In his minds, he wants to create actual fetishes. So he loves his fetish of socks and feet and other related things. I think that's really kind of cool what he's
Oh, yeah.
doing.
For sure. Definitely wanna check
Yeah.
him
What did
out.
you? Yeah, I definitely want to check this out. I love that. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com so you can read more about it. But he lastly says, which caught my attention, for me, porn is a form of art. especially the eroticism. A lot of people tell me, I love when I'm watching your movies. It's real. It's 100% real. And that's because I love chemistry with the other
Yes.
guy.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Have you
I
heard
think
of
that's-
Sam Morris?
I have not. No.
That performer and that studio reminds me of Sam Morris and what he's doing on his website. It's more situational, it's more artistic, and he's beautiful. He has a huge penis too. So and he tops any bottom. So that's another person that I think, another performer that I think is
Falls under
trying
the
to make
ethical form.
and wants to transition it more into a more artistic format type deal.
I love that. Yeah, people are
Me
really getting
too.
creative on how they express themselves. I would argue, though, and kind of disagree with them a little bit, that even OnlyFans, it's empowering a lot of guys to create their own content. And a lot of them are creating really cool scenes. They can update it a lot quicker. So imagine if you're a fan of, say, like a porn star, and
Raheem Shabazz? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But they're run by the studio. Say they're run by a studio, you're only going to get scenes whenever they produce it. And they're always going to be there. With an OnlyFans account, some of them are producing sometimes fetish on their own, like things that they create in their own mind, and they can do it on a quicker time frame, and so they update it more. Plus you can message them
I was
too,
just
which
going
is
to
what I
say
really
that they have a
yeah.
direct pipeline to their audience. So
Yes.
they can actually respond to the audience's needs and desires and what they want. So I think that that's a really good thing about OnlyFans.
Yeah, so it's really expanding so much more from the early days of porn, and I'm loving that. And I love the concept of ethical porn. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. What are people saying before we move on to our last thirst trap here?
Blake just said that the carpenter, what's his name, Manuel?
Yes.
He's laying wood in another way now.
Ooh, yes. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
In a new way.
In a new way. I like that.
And Teddy says that Tim Tales seems to be aligned with the ethical porn movement that's going on right now.
Yes, I love Tim Tales as well.
Tim Tales too. So hot.
Tim Kruger, I think, is the main guy over there.
Yep,
And
that's
I think
him.
I actually did watch one of his earlier today. He's one of my favorites. And I love I like all the scenes they produce. It seems they do a really good job. Thank you for mentioning Tim Tales, of combining really hot scenes, but chemistry between. So you always feel like these guys really are into each other. They like each other. And it wasn't like they didn't meet just an hour ago. And there's definite chemistry and really great positions and camera angles.
And I love it when Tim jumps into the scene in the middle of the scene. And that's just the hottest thing to me.
With that big dick of his. Yes. I like it when he gets all his bottoms, and it's like it's a must in every one of his scenes where he's lying on his back. He's on his back and the bottom is on top facing the camera, and with their feet on his like knee, like thighs. Yeah. And he's Tim's pounding him from that angle. I always love those. Or sometimes he'll throw their legs up in the air, and that's really hot to watch too. So some of my favorite. Blake says
a little hot over here.
Blake says OnlyFans subscriptions really add up, though. Little note on that, Blake. Our other co-host Jeremy Ross Lopez has a little trick where, to keep the variety going, so maybe he'll keep like 2 or 3 going. I'm just making that number up. But make a number up, and that's affordable to you. And they're all $7.99 to $9.99 is usually the range that I like to look at.
You get a sale too,
so he'll subscribe, right? And then he'll go to his email and immediately unsubscribe. So the deal being that he's going to get that 1 month of that person, and then at the end of the month, he won't get charged again because it's already not set. He won't automatically. What that does is it keeps him from not having like 15 subscriptions going on and going, oh my God. And then secondly, it keeps the variety moving along. So, I mean, if he really likes the guy, he can go back and subscribe again, but he likes to move on and find new people to follow.
Yeah.
So he says, oh, I kind of do that
Really
too.
smart.
You can always circle back when they build up more content. Yes,
Yep.
content. Correct. Exactly. I love that. All right. Well, lastly is our favorite Thirst Trap Thursday when this comes out, brought to you by
Yes.
Straight Up Gay Porn. And this week, they're off to a great start. This is the second
Yes,
one of
they
the
are.
year. I love the assemblage of 16 gay porn stars this week. And they asked the question, who took the best photo or video? As always, I'll put the link up on TAGSPodcast.com when this comes out tomorrow, February 10th. Cody, who was your favorite? Who gets your vote? And your job is to descriptively describe to our audio podcast on why you like it.
So I think that we picked the same one again this time. My favorite goes to Diego Daniels. It is a still shot. It's the first picture, and it's so hot. He's sitting.
We landed on that one like boom, done.
Like, done.
Drop the mic. And I want to suck on that knob right there.
Oh my goodness. Nelly ain't got nothing on this man, okay?
Oh, please.
He's blowing Nelly out the water. So he's sitting on the couch. He's absolutely 100% stark naked. He's sitting on the arm of the couch. He's got plants and foliage all behind him. He's looking...
I love the plants and the foliage.
I know, right? It's so good. He's looking...
Can we talk about the hair on his chest?
Oh, it's gorgeous. And his abs, you can tell that he shaves his abs and he takes really care of himself, his body. He works out a lot. And he's got a beautiful tattoo on his right above his shoulder. He's just a gorgeous man. And he gets my vote.
Kind of a beautiful specimen of
this week.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you. I mean, if I had to give a runner-up just so to make it a little spicy, we got to shout out, though, to Harley Xavier.
Yes, we do.
Who was on our show a few months ago and was just so adorable. I want to also shout out to Louis Ricate. Who is sitting there with his tongue out on a cot. He doesn't have his jockstrap is below, like by his ankles. He has really cute socks on. He has a really thick cock and a beautiful hairy chest with a right nipple ring that's really hot, I think. So he kind of gets my second runner-up vote. For sure.
Yeah, he's so hot. He's got his underwear around his ankles. That's just how I like him.
Yes. What are people saying?
Teddy says his vote goes to Sir Peter. Daniel can't choose between Diego Daniels and Travis Stevens. Jen loves Michael Boston. And that was my second pick because Michael Boston's ass is just phenomenal. And he's got it on full display in this picture.
Nice.
Blake says Diego would still be hot, even if the dick wasn't big, but the dick is amazing. And
the dick is like pretty, it's hanging there.
Like almost to the floor.
It is a third leg.
Joshua says, girl, I'm a big old bottom. I need all guys showing their hot cock. Woof. And Blake agrees with him. He says, hey, Joshua.
All right.
So it's a good time. We're having a good time here tonight.
We are, yeah. And I love the interaction between you guys too. And by the way, you can get that on our Discord channel if you consider becoming a Patreon member and joining our new Sex Pause community over at patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. And right now, between now and February 24th, you can get a special offer. So if you join within this period, it's a really great time. You'll get an exclusive upcoming live stream. And we're going to try and find a time that our international audience can do it too. So
cool.
Maybe on a Saturday afternoon, Cody, if you're available, we can do that.
Just let me know. I can make it happen.
Yeah, you'll get that. And you'll get a shout out on an upcoming Tags podcast too. You and your city will get shouted out too, which is always fun to hear your name on the show. So consider supporting and checking out all the perks that you get. Go to patreon.com/Tags podcast. A lot of fun this week. And join us next Tuesday, February 15th for part 2 of our 5-year anniversary with Lincoln, Cody, and myself. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and go to tagspodcast.com for all the information. Cody, thank you so much. So much fun, Cody, as always.
Thank you, darling. So much fun. Yes.
Yes. You can follow Cody. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching, or on his personal account, Mr. Maurice. Thanks, guys. So much fun. Yes, and Blake, I can help you figure out Discord, no problem. It's we'll figure it out. All right, guys, have a great night.
It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed, and that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app, or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.